The National Electrical Code, or NEC, specifies safety guidelines for electrical installations, including those for hot tubs. A key requirement concerns the placement of the disconnect switch. This switch allows you to quickly cut power to the hot tub in case of an emergency or when performing maintenance. The NEC mandates that the disconnect switch must be readily accessible and located within sight of the hot tub. However, it also specifies a maximum distance. The disconnect must be installed no further than 6 feet from the inside wall of the hot tub. This distance is measured horizontally. The purpose of the 6-foot rule is to ensure that someone in or near the hot tub can quickly reach the disconnect switch to shut off the power. This is a critical safety feature that can prevent electrical shock or other hazards. Several factors influence the choice of disconnect type and its exact location within that 6-foot zone. Firstly, consider the voltage and amperage requirements of the hot tub. Most residential hot tubs operate on 240 volts and require a dedicated circuit with an appropriately sized breaker and wiring. The disconnect switch must be rated to handle the voltage and amperage of the hot tub circuit. Secondly, environmental conditions play a role. If the disconnect switch will be exposed to the elements such as rain, snow, or direct sunlight, it must be rated for outdoor use. This means it should be housed in a weatherproof enclosure that protects the switch mechanism from moisture and corrosion. Thirdly, local codes and regulations may have additional requirements beyond the NEC. Always check with your local building department or a qualified electrician to ensure that your installation complies with all applicable codes. The installation process involves several steps. 1. Turn off the power to the circuit at the main electrical panel. 2. Run the appropriate size wiring from the panel to the disconnect switch location. 3. Install the disconnect switch according to the manufacturer's instructions. 4. Run wiring from the disconnect switch to the hot tub's junction box. 5. Make all electrical connections, ensuring that they are tight and secure. 6. Test the installation to verify that the disconnect switch is functioning properly. It is crucial to use the correct wiring size and type for the hot tub circuit. The wire gauge must be large enough to handle the amperage of the circuit without overheating. The type of wire, such as THHN or UF, must be suitable for the installation environment, whether it's indoors, outdoors, or buried underground. Grounding is another essential aspect of hot tub electrical safety. The hot tub, the disconnect switch, and all associated electrical components must be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. This involves connecting a grounding wire from the hot tub's grounding lug to the grounding busbar in the electrical panel. The grounding wire must be sized according to the NEC. Regular inspection and maintenance are essential for ensuring the continued safe operation of the hot tub's electrical system. Inspect the disconnect switch for any signs of damage or corrosion. Test the switch periodically to verify that it is functioning properly. Check the wiring connections for any looseness or corrosion. If you notice any problems, have them repaired by a qualified electrician. Several common mistakes can occur during hot tub electrical installations. One mistake is using the wrong size wiring or breaker. This can lead to overheating and potentially a fire. Another mistake is failing to properly ground the hot tub. This can create a serious electrical shock hazard. A third common mistake is installing the disconnect switch too far away from the hot tub. This violates the NEC requirement and compromises safety. A fourth error is using a non-weatherproof disconnect switch in an outdoor location. This can lead to corrosion and failure of the switch. It is important to understand the relevant sections of the NEC that pertain to hot tub electrical installations. These sections provide detailed requirements for wiring, grounding, bonding, and disconnect placement. Consulting the NEC and following its guidelines is essential for ensuring a safe and compliant installation. Furthermore, bonding is also crucial to hot tub safety. Bonding refers to connecting all metallic parts of the hot tub and its surrounding area to create an equipotential plane. This helps to minimize the risk of electrical shock by ensuring that all metallic surfaces are at the same electrical potential. The bonding requirements for hot tubs are outlined in the NEC. They typically involve connecting a solid copper bonding conductor to the hot tub's bonding lugs and to any nearby metallic objects, such as metal fences, ladders, or handrails. Proper bonding helps to prevent dangerous voltage differences that could occur during a fault condition. In addition to the disconnect switch, ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are also essential for hot tub safety. GFCIs are designed to detect small electrical leaks and quickly shut off the power to prevent electrical shock. The NEC requires that all hot tub circuits be protected by a GFCI. This includes the circuit feeding the disconnect switch and the circuit feeding the hot tub itself. GFCIs are typically installed in the electrical panel or in a weatherproof enclosure near the hot tub. They should be tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. When selecting a location for the disconnect switch, consider factors such as accessibility, visibility, and environmental conditions. The switch should be easily accessible to anyone using the hot tub. It should be clearly visible from a hot tub so that people can quickly locate it in an emergency. And it should be protected from the elements to prevent corrosion and damage. In some cases, it may be necessary to install the disconnect switch on a post or wall near the hot tub. The height of the switch should be within easy reach of most people. The switch should also be installed in a location where it is not likely to be obstructed by plants or other objects. When running wiring to the hot tub, it is important to follow all applicable codes and regulations. The wiring should be protected from physical damage by using conduit or other approved methods. The wiring should also be properly supported and secured to prevent it from sagging or coming loose. When making electrical connections, it is important to use the correct tools and techniques. The connections should be tight and secure to prevent overheating and electrical arcing. The connection should also be protected from moisture and corrosion by using appropriate connectors and sealants. After completing the electrical installation, it is important to test the system to ensure that it is functioning properly. This includes testing the disconnect switch, the GFCI, and all wiring connections. A qualified electrician can perform these tests using specialized equipment. It is also important to educate users about the safe operation of the hot tub. This includes explaining the purpose of the disconnect switch and the GFCI and instructing them on how to use these devices in an emergency. Users should also be warned about the dangers of electrical shock and the importance of avoiding contact with electrical components. The NEC provides specific requirements for the type of wiring that can be used for hot tub circuits. In general, the wiring must be suitable for wet locations and must be protected from physical damage. Common types of wiring used for hot tubs include THHN, THWN, and UF cable. The size of the wiring must be determined based on the amperage of the circuit and the distance from the electrical panel to the hot tub. It is important to consult the NEC and a qualified electrician to determine the correct wiring type and size for your specific application. In addition to the NEC, there may be local codes and regulations that apply to hot tub electrical installations. These codes may have more stringent requirements than the NEC. It is important to check with your local building department or a qualified electrician to ensure that your installation complies with all applicable codes. When hiring an electrician to perform hot tub electrical work, it is important to choose a qualified and experienced professional. Ask for references and check the electrician's credentials to ensure that they are licensed and insured. A qualified electrician will be familiar with the NEC and local codes and will be able to perform the installation safely and correctly. The placement of the disconnect switch is not just about meeting code requirements, it's about ensuring the safety of anyone using the hot tub. A readily accessible disconnect can be a life-saving device in the event of an electrical malfunction. Therefore, careful planning and adherence to the 6-foot rule are essential. Keep in mind that the 6-foot measurement is a maximum distance. There is no minimum distance specified by the NEC. However, the disconnect should be close enough to the hot tub to be easily accessible, but not so close that it could be accidentally activated. The ideal location will depend on the specific layout of your yard and the placement of the hot tub. When selecting a disconnect switch, choose one that is specifically designed for hot tub applications. These switches are typically enclosed in a weatherproof enclosure and are rated for outdoor use. They also often include a lockable feature, which allows you to prevent unauthorized access to the disconnect switch. This can be important if you have children or pets who may be tempted to tamper with the switch. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the installation. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge, skills, and experience to perform the installation safely and correctly. They will also be able to ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. In summary, the 6-foot rule for hot tub disconnects is a critical safety requirement that must be followed to prevent electrical shock and other hazards. By understanding the requirements of the NEC, choosing the right equipment, and following proper installation procedures, you can ensure that your hot tub is safe and enjoyable to use. Always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns.